Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am in Manning Park again. Last year I came out here, it was a lot of fun filming and photographing these ground squirrels. There's the golden mantle ground squirrel, the chipmunk, there's birds here. A lot of fun, a lot of activity, and I'm out with some different camera equipment, different lens. Yeah, there's a lot of action, so I'm excited to go ahead and show you some of the shots that I got. So stay tuned, I'm excited to get started. If you are new to this channel, my name is Shannon and I am a full-time photographer in beautiful British Columbia. Whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply enjoy some stunning visuals, you've come to the right place. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. We're out in the field, wave to the camera. Yeah, good wave. So I've got the camera, the lens, monitor, but we have a rabbit just over this way, so I figured great lighting. Didn't expect to really see anything while we're out for a walk, except for maybe some owls. It's still a little early, but yeah, this little rabbit is pretty fun. So I'm gonna try and film and take more photos, but my son really gets excited about what it is that I'm doing and I get interrupted over and over again. So this is the OM-1 Mark II by OM System, and the lens that I have connected to it is the OM System's 150 to 400 millimeter zoom lens that has a consistent 4.5 aperture. And a sweet feature that I love on this lens is the built-in 1.25 times teleconverter. I'm excited to use this equipment, and a huge thank you to OM System for sponsoring this week's video. Now I have a monitor set up on this camera so that you can see my settings and some video action while I'm taking some photos all in real time. This camera does have some video capabilities, but I'm going to be focusing on the photographs that I capture with this camera and lens. Now this is a micro 4/3 camera, which means that the sensor is half the size of a full frame camera, and that allows me to get really close to my subjects. So it's a 150 to 400 mil lens, when really that's a 300 to 800 mil lens. And with that sweet built-in teleconverter, that will bump me up to 1000 mils. Now, I really enjoyed my time photographing rabbits in my neighborhood, but I wanted to get out on the road to really test this camera and lens. So I'm out here, it's a beautiful sunny day. There's a bit of smoke in the air, which makes it really nice for soft light, but there's also some clouds, more or less over this way. But in this area, this field, there's a whole bunch of ground squirrels. So there's a few different ground squirrels, chipmunks that I want to be photographing and filming today. I'm hoping to do the chipmunk, then there's the golden mantle ground squirrel, I believe. And anyways, I'm testing out this OM System camera. It is the Mark II and a 150 to 400 zoom lens. So they reached out to me, they wanted me to go ahead and use their equipment. This episode isn't really a review as much as it is just me actually taking it out in the field, seeing what shots I can get. So I won't go over all the specs and details. There's other channels that do a really good job of that. For me, it's mostly just putting what I think is the best settings forward, showing you guys kind of the back of the camera and the shots that I get, as well as my shutter speed, aperture, the different functions that I use, things that I toy around with. And I hope it'll kind of give you some insight as to how versatile, how rugged this equipment is. It's nice weather right now. I don't think I'm going to be really taking it through the paces of lightning storms and rain and out on boats and stuff, but for what I am going to be doing is wildlife, fast-moving subjects. It is windy, and then showing you sort of maybe some of the pros and cons that I've found with this camera system, and then showing you some awesome wildlife. Now, as soon as I roll the focus ring on the lens, peak focus engages. So I already had that all set up where I could see this red line, which is really nice. Now the focusing does quite well. There's a lot of grass kind of in the foreground, background, and as long as the camera kind of sees that eye, it really sticks and grabs to the wildlife. And my images come back really sharp, full detail right on that eye, which is really important for me. Now, a lot of my settings are the same on this camera as they are on other cameras, where I select the appropriate wildlife setting, and then my metering, I just allow it to be sort of evaluative, metering the whole scene instead of using, spot metering. If I do have an issue with the scene being too bright or too dark, I'll just use exposure compensation to make some fine-tune adjustments. I'm also shooting RAW, and my burst rate is 25 frames per second. And if I were to switch over to video, I'm going to be shooting 4K at 60 frames per second. I also like having my histogram viewed on my screen, as you can see here in the top left corner. And this shows me my exposure. One, I find sometimes I need to switch this right here. So this just allows you to eliminate certain areas that you don't want your lens to be focusing on. So if the subject you're photographing is far away, you can eliminate 6 meters in front of your lens so that your lens doesn't pull focus really close to you. Since the area of focus has been narrowed down, your lens is a lot faster at pulling focus on your subject. So I sometimes switch this. This is the default in the middle here, but sometimes I switch it over to here if I know I'm pretty far away from where the action's going to be. I keep image stabilizer on. Sometimes I switch that off depending on how fast of a shutter speed I am. I guess my biggest complaint so far, it's really just the tension knob here. It's either on or off. So when you loosen it, it does click into the next space. So there's 1, 2, 3, so there's 4. So that allows you to like lock into your vertical and your horizontal. But what about if my horizontal is not level because the tripod is not level? And that's where I wish I had some drag to be able to slowly move instead of having to adjust my tripod every time, because I'm constantly moving it around. Yeah. Now these guys are really curious about my camera equipment, about who I am. They're very, very tame. And one thing that I really enjoyed doing the last time I was out here is photographing my camera setup and the wildlife, kind of looking at it almost like they're the photographer taking some photos. So these are the photos that I took last time. And I wanted to do the same thing and see if these guys would want to check out this new camera body and lens. Here it kind of looks like they're having a town meeting about the lens and camera. Hi everyone, I made it to the top. Motorbike is so nice driving it up the mountain there. I just threw together kind of a time lapse. So many twists and bends. And the view is just unreal. So beautiful. Now this road does go further up, and I was talking to someone else down in the valley there, and they said there's some beautiful wildflowers. And if you can get some wildlife with the flowers, I think that would be a win-win scenario. So I'd like to do that maybe tomorrow. There's some really nice sun rays coming down over the valley here. You can actually see from this viewpoint the forest fire that's still out of control. Way over there, it's just south of Princeton. And the wind is blowing easterly, so we're not getting any of that smoke. If the wind obviously changes, this might get filled in with a lot of really nasty smoke. The pros with smoke, there are no pros to forest fires, but I know what you mean, is that it softens the light, kind of gives us a little bit more of an orange look, which can kind of look like sunset color. But obviously it's not great to breathe, and you don't want smoke all the time. But yeah, I'm gonna get set up, see how the 150 to 400 does with some of these landscapes. And it does have ND, like internal ND, so you don't need ND filters. You can just select different ND modes, and you can do long exposures. If I had more time, I think I would set it up for the clouds for some long exposures, just because the clouds are moving at a fairly good clip here. But I don't know, you gotta focus whether you want wildlife or you want to do a lot of landscape. So I might take a couple of telephoto landscape shots without long exposures, but just so you know, it has that feature, and I would like to use it if I have more time with it, so we'll see. photographing and filming is pikas. They're pretty small. I could probably fit them in the palm of my hand, and they live in kind of these sort of rocky landslide, areas where there's boulders, areas that are nice and cool. They're so fast, so quick. They do pause once in a while, and that's when I need to pull out to 150 mils on the lens to really see what I'm looking at, because there's so many shadows and highlights, and they blend right in. So when you see them move, you kind of get the area, and then you zoom in, and then you take your photos and videos. Now here are a few examples where there's grass and there's branches in the foreground, and so I use manual focus just for a little bit to then kind of find that eye or that head, and then the autofocus really took over from there, because the little boxes pop up, finds the eyes, finds the heads, and does a great job of focusing on it. Now I said I was mostly going to be doing photography with this camera and lens, but I did try out the video and it looks amazing. It is 4K at 60 frames, so some of this footage I slowed down half speed. And yeah, everything works just the same. The autofocus is nice and quick. And there are some other settings and stuff that you can set up for video. So definitely has all the capabilities of doing 4K beautiful footage along with the photographs that you just seen. And since the camera and lens is so light, it makes it quite easy just to be stable without shaky hands while filming. So if you like this content, please give me that thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed, think about subscribing. Had a lot of fun out here. Thank you so much to OM Systems for sending me this camera equipment. I hope you enjoyed today's content and I hope to see you on the next episode. Ciao.